Hello, my name is Andrew Evans. I'm an instructor at Taekwon-Do in Sanford, Maine, and I'm making this video in a reaction or to comment back to some comments I received on a Reddit post, specifically with an admin, about more or less me not wearing a uniform and my belt. And showing my rank in my videos, and I'm definitely going to do that in this video, okay? He's definitely right, and I plan on making sure that my belt and my uniform are on me the whole time during the video. Welcome back to ITF Pattern, Won Hyo, Practical Application, Self-Defense, Boonhae Hosinsul. This is number 4. We're taking a look at the 2 knife hand blocks forward, finishing off with the right hand spear forward. We looked at the knife hand block coming down off of the left side kick, so when you're pulling in, coming into ready stance kick, and then coming down into knife hand block. We're following through from the left side, right side, into the spear, okay? So let me address my uniform real quick. So I wanted to make sure that I was appropriate in the appropriate attire, because I had a comment before saying that I wasn't taken seriously without wearing my uniform or my belt, so I hope now I'm taken more seriously. Okay, so from here we're going to move on to those sets. So it looks like this. Okay, so from the finishing move off of our fist, we'll move back just a little bit. Here we go into ready stance, guarding block. Here, extension on the kick, coming down, knife hand strike, knife hand strike, knife hand strike, spear. Okay? So we're going to look at the knife hand left, knife hand right, spear right. Go from the grab. On this side, I'm grabbing the collar. Now, unfortunately, she doesn't have the uniform, so it's not super realistic. I apologize. Okay? But someone's grabbing her collar or jacket or whatever. It could be shirt, could be anything. So before we've come to the inside, so if the preparation was on this side, typically you would come to the inside hand this way, defending this side. Okay. Megan's right hand is going to stay to the outside, pressing the holding hand into the body. Okay. So if she brings it to the inside, okay, she's not capturing my hand, but it's still not necessarily at a disadvantage. She could possibly push it away, hold on to it, or grab it. But this time she's trapping it, keeping it tight to the body. Okay, opposite hand is guarding the face as I swing in. Okay, it could be anything, right? So it could be anything, right? It could be a slap, good. It could be a punch. It could be grabbing. It could be me going for her other collar. It could be grabbing her arm. It could be going for ears, hair, whatever I want to grab. Okay, so I'm holding the collar, even if it's like a headbutt, right? So if her hand is going to the inside here, and I go to pull back and headbutt, this hand can pull across. As it comes across, guarding. Same thing. Same motion, it's all the same. Keeping yourself in. Okay? So, first one, here. Okay? Trapping instead. Trapping the hand, blocking the hand this way. Okay? That's our preparation for our first knife hand. Okay? As she follows through, guarding hand grabs. In Japanese we call it ikite, pulling hand on this side, and then pushing on this side. Okay? Creating separation. It doesn't matter if this hand is off or not, but she's creating distance. This keeps her at bay. If we are trying to separate the person, or they do disconnect off of this, then she can just push me away and we can finish. We don't have to keep going with the pattern. Okay? But now I'm at a distance and she's pushing me heavy, pushing me away. So I either want to grab her back, look to go under, or I want to swing back at her. Okay? I'm going to want to swing. So I swing and she goes to the second guard on this side. Okay? So the hand setup is basically the same as our guarding block. We're defending covering our head, and the opposite side is coming in on the elbow. Okay? So from here, all right, we're done with this. I hope this makes you happy. Please lay off cake. Okay? So as I go in on the first side, this way, 1, same thing, 2, and then as I'm coming in on this side over here, even if I like scoop, as long as her hand is connected to my neck, let's say I've had enough, I want to shoot in. Okay, I go for a leg. She can have the same setup, same exact thing. I go to shoot for the leg, she pushes me away, and the elbow comes down as the same setup goes through. Okay? Same preparation. Okay? You're just not coming this way. Okay, you go towards where the target is. But we're gonna move on to something a little bit more basic. Somebody's slapping you, somebody's punching you. Somebody doesn't necessarily know that they want to shoot in. Okay? Because if you have this frame, I don't necessarily want to shoot in on her, right? Because she has control of it. Okay? So we're gonna sit here. So I'm gonna swing instead. There we go. Good. Okay? 1, 2. Same reaction. This is our second motion. Right hand side, this way. Elbow, covering, same. Okay? She hasn't moved her leg yet. Okay, one more time. Here, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now she hasn't moved her leg yet because she hasn't set up yet. Go ahead, finish, go forward. Bearing through. Now we have our second setup. Okay? So we're here, creating distance. Same thing as the first one. Okay? The elbow just led you into it a little bit better. That's all. Okay? So now we need to move on through the spear. It's a controlling position. She's moved my body where I started, with my head on the other side. Because she creased it through it, this gives her more neck control. It wasn't just a press like the first one. She manipulated my head out of the way to make sure I'm on the opposite side. Okay? So now we're looking at the spear. Her arm is going to go underneath my armpit, the controlling hand. Oh, let's go back. Here, let's turn. The controlling side on this side is going to slip underneath my armpit and grab her own wrist. Okay? If we pay attention to the movement, I'm just going to kneel. Okay? This is our spear hand. This is our underneath hand. Okay? We're paying attention to the force that's driving step. We're paying attention to the force that's driving forward, not necessarily what the hand is doing. Because once you flow through this, it's the exact physical application. It's just not, invisible. Okay? So from here, Megan's going to keep me low, just like we're pressing with our left hand. Okay? And driving leg, bomb, the knee comes forward, pressing away. Okay? Let's look at that from the other side. Here we're going to flow. 1, 2, 3. Stay. Here. Okay. So this is the same representation. Let's cut this like that. Okay. So as she's driving it through off of the knife, right? Okay. This is our walking forward. This is from here to here. Our spear. Okay. We're just giving. All right, we're done with this now. Okay, please stay in your lane for self-defense, especially with videos like I've seen, okay? So, here to here, this way. If we're focusing on our knee forward, this way, when we rise our body up with the motion, the knee comes with it, that's our striking point. Here, relax, come up, okay? You're going into a forward stance. If you're controlling the head well, you're already in a forward stance. Okay, then when you drive the knee forward, you can stay in a forward stance, go back, stay in a forward stance, go here, here. Okay? Now you have the ability to, if you wanted to, force the head down if you want to continue the motion, or create separation. Okay? Which we can apply however you want. If you look at the mechanic of the push, it leaves the hands kind of like this or like this, which is the same dynamic of your body when you're going like this. You're pushing something away. When you spear something, all you're doing is pressing. You're pressing, same thing, press. When you have a hold of the person in the motion, this way, you're press the person through. Okay? Alright, let's do a few speed runs and then we'll look back on some applications that are possible to see from there. So the first one here, we're going to cover go 1, 2. This is when we come forward here. Now we have our 7. Go get it. Okay, now we're going to do one where the feet don't necessarily matter in comparison to the pattern itself. Okay, so this exchange is going to be how Megan feels comfortable moving. So it might not be the exact foot movement in comparison to the pattern. She may just use hand manipulation. She may just use feet. It's whatever works for her, but she knows, the difference is she knows what part of the pattern it's from. This is the key point, is that when I show something, it doesn't necessarily have to be dead on, dead on, dead on. If you're slow to react, you can go multiple knees. You should have control the whole time. So that's another thing. Don't be afraid to create your own moveset off of it, because you never know how much you're going to need. So if Megan's playing around with this and she might stumble a little bit on her movement, maybe because you're overthinking the pattern too much, then you're just going to multiple sets. There's no reason why this just needs to be one. Right? If I need to get my knee to this position forward and they're resisting, so if I have something like this, like she covers, why wouldn't I go in to get myself to move forward on that set? Right? So don't be afraid to move forward. Let's go back and look at it real quick. So we'll start, I'm going to change angles every time. So here is the speed gun, the speed set. So I'm holding collar on this side. I can hold this way if I need to. See, it's the same setup. See how she captures my elbow? Same setup, keeping it inside, elbow comes in this way, guards this way. Same thing. You can even reverse the roll and you do this elbow first instead of covering it this way and going down. Either one's fine. Okay? So from here, boom, boom, same thing, knife hand here. Now this is going to be a little bit short for me, okay? Because what I had here was stretchy. Now it's not stretchy. Now I'm in a real messed up position. Now she can really feel when I disengage. Okay, let's look back at it a little bit. So here, I'm going to go back to collar just because it's a little bit looser for me. Just a little bit looser. Number 1, cover. Okay, capture, press. Okay, knife hand, press to the neck. Create space. Not this. And hold with the blade. Okay, extend your blade. Extend your blade. Okay, second one, I don't like this position. I either reach, which your elbow still comes across, or I go to smack her again or hit her again. Okay? So I'm going to press my hand across again. She covers up, and she uses that elbow because I'm super close. Comes right against my jaw, my temple. If you miss, or I'm down here, maybe you hit the skull. That's okay. Thank you. Now, right, keep up. There's the cross. Presses the neck again. If my head is this way, like this, and she elbows, she's going to smack my face across this way, which gives her a better form of control against my neck. Okay? Even if my head is still like this, press, my head is going to be captured down as she manipulates. Okay? Now from here, press this away. Okay, keeping distance and grabbing. Now we'll turn around. Keeping control of the person's body. Even if I get my arm out to cover my face, it's still going to get the knee, right, to attack the way that you want, and she can disengage at any point. Right? Disengage here. I'm going to come back to it real quick. So as I come back this way, even if I disengage this way, if Megan wanted to, she could potentially tweak my arm or make me roll. So as, let's say she wants me to do a roll, this is just extra stuff. So as she knees me in the face, boom, pulls my head down to the ground, this way, moving my body. All right, So back to this. So if I was here, and we go back to that same thing. So I see her wind up to me. Oh, I put this in my face, I cover up. Megan's cool with that because she's gonna drive my head down to that. And I come down this way. That's just extra, okay? You could utilize it in a way of turning to the next point if you wanted to. Here, she's coming this way, and we go here. So it's not too much extra work that you would have to do. Key points would be to make sure that your elbow isn't bent when you're trying to create space. Should be separation. Whether you get a good grip on tricep or you end up having the wrist, it should be focused on separation. I say use this. I like in between this part of my hand to keep distance, specifically because if Megan shoots on me, I can press the head down to create space. Okay? Now, I'm not saying it's going to work every time, because if they're super good, they're going to find a way anyway. But if I have head control, I'm going to have a way better chance of stuffing the shot before it comes in. All right? Let's see. The next thing would be an elbow is basic, right? But if you're training elbows this way, your hand should come up this way. Basic, okay, everybody trains basic this way. This way. Okay, but as soon as you get into good mechanics, you're cutting your elbow. So that's the same mechanic as this if you do it right. If you think about it this way, motion, palm, and elbow, same motion. Okay? Visualize technique within the structure of preparation. Okay? Preparation for us should have more than just a wind-up method of getting to the technique. Okay? This is only gonna go on, and like half of you are gonna go in and out the other side. You're gonna be focused on like tacos or what's coming after this. And the other half is gonna be focused on doing it correctly. Okay, those are the ones that I care about more. Unless you're bringing me tacos, so we'll talk. Okay. All right. So that's number 4. The next part we're gonna look at is the turn afterwards. I don't think it will be a lead up after this because this is a pretty good choice of separation and or putting them down. Separation or finishing the technique. So next we're going to be looking at after the spear, turning in, coming in this way. Okay? So thank you for joining us for part 4, Boonhae Hosinsul for Won Hyo. Next will be number 5. See you next time. Some of the other things that I've received is kind of my background on my martial arts and what the reasoning behind why I'm doing this. And the major reason is because ITF doesn't really have any practical applications for their patterns. A lot of people just assume that they are for working out or practicing technique or competition or strictly one of the people in the past post has said strictly for aesthetic, and that is just nonsensical and pointless. Why are you doing it if that's what it's for? People have also said about too many grappling things in my movements, but sometimes they're just set up because based on prior knowledge to what I've practiced in the past. Okay, so I have experience in Taekwondo, ITF, since 1996, when my former instructor was running the school, Taekwon-Do. It was under USTF with Rick Sharif, and while it was still under him. And in 2008/2009, Chern T took over, and mostly recently, before 2020, we joined the USA ITF. So I've been a part of the ITF for many years, as I said, since 1996. I earned my first degree, or what would be considered a first dan, in 2007/2008. The way our school worked is that you earned your black belt, but you didn't earn a first degree
until you went through a 1-year probation period, which means you had to be at class all the time. Unfortunately, I stopped coming before that, so it was about 2 years after before I actually earned my first degree. Later, about a year or two after coming back to martial arts, probably in 2010, 2011, I earned my second degree, second Dan, and then most recently in 2020/2021, I earned my third Dan, only because we couldn't find a reliable source of people to test with us that didn't involve us traveling far distances. Next time that we plan on traveling. So I've had many years that doesn't exactly equate to the ranking of my belt. I also study JKA Karate. I'm first Q underneath it. I travel to Green, Maine, which is an hour and a half away, every Friday and every other Tuesday, at least once a week, to train in Shotokan, which is the foundation for ITF Taekwondo, which should shut a lot of purists up, but it doesn't. And the last thing is I also study wrestling. I have somewhat of a wrestling background. I've trained with Sanford coaches in Maine, and I've trained with Massabesic teams. I've trained in jiu-jitsu. My students train in jiu-jitsu. I have some judo background, very, very minimal. So I have a basic, I would say basic understanding, a core concept to some groundwork. I'm not saying I'm overly experienced in any form of grappling, but I understand the basics at least to deal with. I feel comfortable enough saying that I am comfortable with dealing with a ground situation to an extent, whether it be with striking or not with striking. I feel semi-comfortable being on the ground or even on my back, even as a wrestler. So I never said that the techniques that I'm showing in my videos are 100% applicable to every situation. What I'm saying is that this could be this, just like any bunkai that you're seeing in a karate kata or something like that. It's not an all-out explanation for something, it's just what could it be. ITF does not have practical applications for their patterns because it's based on the Shotokan in the 50s / early 40s, late 50s, to where it was applied to military. That is what Taekwondo was founded on. ITF specifically was founded on that structure. So the bunkai that was taught then was the long distance kumite type one-step stuff that you see today in competition. It is not the same as what the Okinawans taught. And anybody who argues about Okinawan stuff like this, if you don't go back, like Japanese styles go back, then you're not doing yourself any service.